Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. My name is Lisa Mejri, or also known as Lisa's My Realtor with RE/MAX Top Producers, and I wanted to share some information with you. Last week or the week before, I talked about Prop 13 and how they're doing the split roll and how they are wanting to possibly have it switched to the commercial properties to be reassessed. And we'll get into all of that again in just a few minutes for those that didn't watch the video. But I wanted to share something. So there's a lot of confusion going on because there's another Prop 13 that's going to be on the ballot this year. And I want to compare the two and show how they're completely different. They are not related in any way, shape, or form. It just so happened that the numbers, they keep redoing the numbers when it comes time for them to have propositions that come onto the ballot. And it just so happened that this time around, Prop 13 was the number one that hit. So the Prop 13, I'm going to read it for what it says on the website so that you guys can understand the difference. So the proposed Prop 13 for 2020 is known as the School and College Facilities Bond. And what this says is Proposition 13 would authorize $15 million in bonds for schools and college facilities in California, including $9 billion for preschool and K through 12 schools, $4 billion for universities, and $2 billion for community colleges. So with this one is completely different. Hi Lily, thanks for watching. This is completely different than the Prop 13 that was passed in 1978. So this one has to do completely with schools. This has nothing to do with home ownership or property taxes or anything like that. It has to do with the schools, so it is not going to affect property values or property taxes. I've asked some of my teachers, friends who are involved in the teacher associations, how the funds are going to be getting, and they're coming from the general funds. So that has nothing to do with property taxes. So when you're voting for that Prop 13, the school bond, that is not having to do with your property taxes. Okay? So on top of that, let's talk about what I know more about, because I don't know a whole lot about that one. So if you want to reach out to some teachers, they're the ones that know a whole lot about that. So I don't want to go yes one way or the other, because I don't understand all of the aspects of that, and I'm still learning that one. I'm just trying to share the difference in the two that I do understand, because I know a whole lot more about Prop 13 that was passed in 1978. And in 1978, that proposition that was passed, it was passed by 65% of the voters. And the reason for that was, back in the day, those property taxes were being reassessed constantly, and property taxes were getting super high. And they wanted a way to protect homeowners from being taxed so much. So with Prop 13 from 1978 that was passed, it allows for your property taxes to stay low, keeping it to where it can only be reassessed at 2% of the assessed value every year. So, and when I say assessed value, your assessed value is when you purchased your home, not when you reassess. So like, for example, I have an example here. Let's say you purchased your home in 1980 and you purchased it for $30,000. And your property taxes based on Prop 13 can only go up by 2% every year, keeping them low. So in San Bernardino County, our property tax base is 0.26%, and that's across the board. Some cities will have a little bit more, and some areas will have a little bit more because of Melrose and other bonds that are, but this is just a tax base, so we're going to use a flat number to make it easy to share. The annual taxes on the $30,000 purchase price would still be roughly about $248 a year. So that's why we're keeping them low, because that Prop 13 let it do that. So even though that house may be worth $800,000 now, you're still paying it based on that $30,000. So when you sell that home, the new buyer would then get reassessed at the new purchase price, the new value, and that's when the property taxes would then increase. What they're proposing to do is they're calling it a split roll, and this one does not have a proposition number yet. It has not been assigned a number. They're wanting to put it on and say that it's going to be for commercial properties and it's not going to affect homeowners. But in the long run, it will. Because in the other video, I was sharing that even though it says that they're going to only assess commercial properties, the commercial properties will then assess and reassess the rent values for those rent businesses that are having it, and then ultimately it's going to come back on us consumers. So it's ultimately going to come out of our pocket as well. So we want to keep Prop 13 from 1978 all by itself, because leave it alone, don't move it, because once we open that up, they're going to want to come after our property values as well. So let's say, using that same example, because the prices were about the same, for example, for the commercial properties versus the residential properties. So let's say that commercial property that they're now wanting to reassess is now worth, let's say, $800,000. So now that it's reassessed at $800,000, you have the same rate at 0.0826%. Now your property taxes go to $6,608 a year. So that's a huge difference for a business owner that could be barely making it. It could make or break and shut down some business and affect business owners. So they're going to have to pass that cost on to us consumers. Whether it's a restaurant, they're going to need to, because they're going to have that extra cost, so they're going to have to up their prices, which is then we're going to be paying more for it. So that's one of the bad things about it. So the difference in that property tax difference from 66 to 248 is a difference of $6,300 a year, guys. So that's going to come back on us. Another reason why this is a bad idea is because if you look at it, the city council members, that property taxes is assessed and it's divided out to the city, the county, and the state level. So all portions get a portion of that. So when city council members are looking at the opportunity whether to put in a commercial property or to put in a residential property, because we all know that we are in a housing crisis here and we need more homes built in California, when they have that option, should this pass and the city is getting more money for commercial properties versus the residential properties, they're going to choose to put more commercial properties than they are putting residential properties. That's not going to say everyone will, but that's when it's going to bring in more money to help the schools and the firemen and the police departments. That's going to be an issue. So we want to make sure that we keep Prop 13 that does not have a assessment yet, a prop number to be able to split roll it or separate it out. We don't have a proposition number for that, but we do not want to touch Prop 13 from 1978. Again, this is completely separate and completely different of the Prop 13 for 2020 for the school assessment bond. That has nothing to do with the property taxes. The property taxes is the Prop 13 from 1978 that we want to keep intact and keep it the same way that it is right now. If you guys have any questions or would like some more information, or if you're thinking about buying or selling, give me a call at 909-583-7844. Put a like, and share this and help me spread the word. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.